This is one of the main tools that you'll use each day, folks, in tech to track your work. And what we're looking at here, folks, is the Jira board. Now, I would say this is one of the most important parts of working in tech, folks, and I've said it umpteen times, and that's communication. And what this here board will allow you to do, folks, is communicate with everyone that you work with. And if you're doing this right, folks, you should hear very little from other team members if they look at your tickets, because the things that you write in these tickets when you create them should de-risk the tickets for anyone that comes and looks at them. And what I mean by that is, folks, they should not have to do a lot of digging around to understand exactly what needs done on the ticket, be that from a fresh start on the ticket, or if you've left the ticket at a specific point and there's still work to be done. I will dig into this here at a really high level, folks. I've set up a brand new fresh Jira account here, and this is exactly what you'll see when you set it up. It gives you a couple of example tasks here, and it's a basic Jira board. But what I would say is, before we dive into one of these tickets here, you could use this layout here to get used to navigating around Jira, folks, by doing any type of task. If it's to go out and buy a new keyboard for your computer, you could create a task for that there. If it's to go and, say, for example, practice creating an app using, a function app services in Azure, you could create tasks around that there. If it's to do some study time, then you could, again, create a task for that and just drag these around as they say, their different stages of completion over to done eventually. But it will give you good experience, folks. This is exactly what you'll be using in the real world. That's the beauty of it. And you'll be able to talk about this here at an interview, or to even people that you network with, and they'll know that you've got eyes on this here and you've got hands on it as well. So if we look at this first one here, this is exactly what it'll look like when you set up a free account, folks. All I've done is just name this space my Terraform team. So I'll open this ticket up here, and what you can see is a basic layout here. And what I would say is give it a meaningful title, and we can use Rovo, that's the Jira AI, to give it a good description, folks. If you leave it even for a couple of days to come back, folks, before you leave it, just put in a comment of where the stage it is that it's at. And at least then when you come back and you might have had the context switch, you can look at the comment and say, oh, I've got to this stage. But again, it's how much detail you put in these descriptions, folks, that'll help you out to no end. If you have to go digging around in other subtasks and other linked work items to try and add context to what you need to do in these tickets, I see that as like you haven't de-risked it enough. Yes, you might have to, but this has been a pain point of mine recently, where there's been things left out and I've had to go and reach out to people. And yes, I can be diplomatic in some cases and realize the ticket is old. It might have been a year since it's looked at and it's come round again. But yeah, ideally we should not have to do much rooting around to see what needs done. So if we just come to the title here, folks, and say, for example, we're going to create an application here on a VM. So create a application on a VM, and we can just tick that there. What we can actually do there is just copy the title, because that'll be part of the description, or well, what we give the AI. So create me a ticket description for, I'll paste that in, creating an application on a VM in Azure using a function app and app service plan. Okay, and what we can then do, folks, is improve this description, let Rovo do its thing, and what it'll do is go in here and it'll give you a layout of what a ticket should look like. Now, bear in mind, in your organization, you may have different little titles for each part of the description that it gives you. And in that case, Rovo's clever. It'll be set up to actually track that. You'll have another tool that's native to Atlassian. That's where Jira is from, called Confluence, and you can have a ton of templates in that and link them to the AI and interlink them with these Jira tickets as well, folks. It's a big ecosystem in itself, but these are just basic things here that I need to be able to do my everyday work. I don't need to be a Jira expert, so I just need to be able to track my work and be able to speak about these tasks when I go on to my stand-ups. So we can see here, we need to just bear in mind that it can hallucinate as well and give us the wrong descriptions, folks. So just read the thing out and make sure it's meaningful for you, and it should be meaningful for other people too. Like I said, you come down here, you can stick a comment in here, folks, as well. You can tag people in here. You can create little subtasks if you realize after starting the task you need to do something else in order for this task to be completed. This task might be linked to a parent item, and you might have to complete this before that can be completed. But ideally, you should not need to leave this ticket very much at all, if at all, to get context on what needs to be done. But yeah, put as many comments in here as you need, tag people. This will probably be linked to your email, so you'll get an email, and someone else might possibly get an email as well, your team leader, to show that the work item is being tracked and it's being worked on. And every day you'll have this here at the stand-up where this board will be shared. I'll just save that there. And you can assign it to yourself as well. If I drag that across, just assign to me. So that's my ticket. You can give it a multitude of things. The headings are all self-explanatory, folks. But like I said, the more you use it, the more you'll get used to it. Okay. So then this board here will get shared. I'll drag it across. It's in progress now. And that's just a basic high-level overview, folks, of a tool that you're going to use to communicate in your day-to-day. All right. As always, folks, again, the game of communication. If you've got any questions around things like this here, please reach out. Drop a question in the comments. But I'll leave this one with you. As always, wish you all the best. Take care and good luck.